since you did co-produce several songs on the Lock Sessions Volume 3, you've also, got in and worked early in your career with E.A.Ski,
Mhm.
did a project with Apollo Brown. Like, how has, because they're very different producers, at least the music they put out sonically.
Mhm.
So how learning from all these different stages, and they were at very different phases of your career as well. So how's all of that go into you when you're working on producing or co-producing a song?
Oh, a lot. It has a huge amount. Watching EA Ski for so many years, watching him, like making beats from like nothing to something. You know what I mean? Watching the different elements, learning about song arrangement. You know what I mean? Watching another Ski beats. You know what I mean? Putting samples together, learning how he took samples, but then would add live musical or even replay samples or change them up and be inspired by certain samples and then redo it. And then Apollo Brown, um, uh, I think what I learned about, because Apollo, I recorded everything with him out there in Detroit, but he pretty much just sent those beats to me, and I started working on them before I even got there. So then when I got to him, I think I just had the freedom of just relaxing and just like, all right, he's doing all the production. You know what I mean? Like, so I can just kind of like create and you know what I mean and bounce ideas off of him. He's like, yeah, that's dope. Why don't you add this, add that? Uh, you know, so yeah, there's just things that you can learn from every producer. Yeah, I mean, it's a great experience. I mean, I take from everybody. I take from live performances. Going on tour and being on tour with guys like Ari the Rugged Man and Murs. I tell them all the time. I give them credit. Like, yo, I copy my show off of watching you perform. I copy my show off of R.A. Murs, like these different guys. Like, lo, I took elements and tried to incorporate it into my way. And because that's what you do, as an MC, you learn from the people ahead of you.
Yeah. And Murs and RA, I've seen both perform many times. They definitely got great shows. So
Right? Great
good,
live performance.
good choices. Yes. Now, also on the Lock Sessions Volume 3, you have the Planned Parenthood, which came out obviously before Roe versus Wade was overturned, but now is even more poignant. So, given the current climate of what's going on legally. So, with Planned Parenthood, what made you think about that when you were doing the Lock Sessions Volume 3?
Yeah, that's so yeah, I wrote I came up with that because I wanted to make a song. I wasn't even really particularly thinking about that specific topic, but I was thinking about I want to make a song where because I feel like in the last few years, America, I mean, it's been so just like divided. You know what I mean? Like I've just never, seen it like that. I mean, I knew it existed before it to be just so openly out there in every platform, in every arena, like everybody's just so divided, like, to the left or to the right. And I was just like, all right, how can I make a song at that point in time? I was like, I want to make a song that kind of like expresses that, but I don't want it to be, just so corny or so, I was like, how can I do it in a way where it's like smart and it's talking? I was just like, oh, that's a really good topic. The whole concept about abortion. I feel like I had watched or read something at the time. I was like, I think maybe that's a dope way to do it where we have a conservative point of view and I guess what may, more liberal point of view. And how can I show that dynamic? And I chose it to just make it more personal where it was like, okay, a family dealing with abortion, like the father thinks it's wrong and you shouldn't do it and it's against God. And then the woman, the young woman is just like, well, I know you think all that, but this isn't something I want to do. It's something that I need to do. I feel like I have to do at this point. So just kind of giving those two perspectives. And it was just a vehicle for addressing not only that problem, but I guess I feel like a greater problem of just like this division in the country.
Yeah. And it's amazingly more timely than even when you put out the Lock Sessions Volume 3. Now,
Yeah.
with a song like Planned Parenthood versus a song like Decoded, where you're more just boasting and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
generally speaking, because I know everything is different, but generally speaking, when you do a song like Planned Parenthood, where you have a concept, it's a theme, it's a story, versus a Decoded, where it's more freestyle, boasting, however you want to classify it,
Mhm.
Do you find yourself rewriting the story ones more or rewriting the boasting ones more? How does that process unfold for you?
I think the story ones are easier to make, because I'm not easier, but it's like because you have a definite direction. You know what I mean? So I think with that particular song, I I wrote down like in my phone, I just make notes of all the things I want to talk about. You know, I was like, okay, on this side, on the pro-life side, I want to say these things. You know what I'm saying? On the pro-choice side, I want to say these things. And then I just kind of like follow that. I just wanted to make sure I had at least this many points and at least this many points in each side. So it's kind of like an outline. You know what I mean? So when I'm coming up with the bars, I'm like, riding around listening to the beat or whatever. I'm just kind of like, okay, I know I'm not running out of information because I already got the information, you know what I mean? Kind of like scribbled down on a note. So I can just like, okay, I can just put it in a rhyme form. Does that make sense? I'm just kind of connecting the dots with the rhymes. When you're doing like a song that's just kind of more like a freestyle or just free for all, I mean, that can be, it's good. I guess it's kind of easy because it's liberating. You don't have to stick to anything, but you gotta, it's that you gotta come up with something dope every time. You know what I mean? Every line and you don't know what it's gonna be. There's no like, I don't know. I'm not thinking of it ahead of time, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? I'm just playing the beat and I'm essentially just literally freestyling off the dome, but then I'm just like recording it. You know what I mean? So I feel like I'm definitely doing less rewriting on something like that. You know what I mean? I'm not doing any rewriting because I'm feeling like I'm just going with the flow. With a song like Planned Parenthood, I'm not necessarily doing rewriting, but I am like, I may write like full bars today and then stop and be like I'm working on a song right now. It's not the same as Planned Parenthood, but it is a little more conceptual where I'm just kind of like coming up with like 4 bars every day. That's my goal. I'm like, all right, just come up with 4 bars today. You know what I mean? Because I don't want to rush it because I'm not just going with the flow. I'm like, no, I have specific things that I need to talk about. And that's the same with the Planned Parenthood. It's like, all right, I have specific things. I'm just going to piece it together. So I'm piecing it together. It's easier in the sense that I already know what I'm going to talk about, but it does take a little bit longer sometimes because I have to make sure I hit all those points. But with like a freestyle type of record, you just don't know. I just go with the flow. So if I'm not in that zone, I'm just like, all right, you just stop, come back to it. So I guess I don't know if that answers your question.
No, it does. It's just, it makes sense too, because generally speaking in life, when you know where you're going, when you're done, you can tell you're done. Whereas like with a freestyle, that could be a minute long, that could be 7 minutes long, just depending on what's happening.
Exactly. It just
to your
depends on the flow.
Yes, which ties directly into the title, at least, of Stages, also from the Lock Sessions Volume 3. And with Stages, I was interested because now, given that you've had a long career, you've toured around a lot, you've done a lot of shows, a lot of different artists, and been all throughout the Bay, probably more than you could even imagine at this point. Mm-hmm. What specifically, because in Stages you talk about being from Richmond and different things about that. What have you noticed is different about Richmond than Oakland or East Oakland or San Francisco or Vallejo or different, Hayward or wherever it is in the Bay, that people may not understand or appreciate?
Richmond is just, because it's so small. It's not a big city. It's not a big metropolitan like San Francisco or even, Oakland. So we're kind of on the outskirts, you know what I mean? But it just has such a unique background with like the shipping, from like the World War II days and the ports and all these type of things. And it's just, and it's like everybody there, like my mom's family came from the South, everybody I know's family came from like New Orleans, Louisiana, the South. Like they're like literally everybody, they're like first or second generation from somewhere else, you know what I mean? And they're kind of like adapting and they're mixing that all together. It's very small, but it's very prideful. Everybody's very proud of Richmond. Whether it's entertainment, education, sport, athletics. Like everybody's just very proud. It's just there's a sense of pride, there's a sense of togetherness. It's small, but it's rough. It's very rough too. But it's a sense of community because it is so small. So I don't know. I feel like every place has that, but I feel like it's just unique about Richmond because everybody's from somewhere else. So you have that melting pot of people from the South, from the Midwest, Chicago. Like everybody's just kind of coming together, and we just got to fight for our respect. Like Oakland is on the map. Frisco's on the map, and Richmond. We just have some people that's done some things, but we just take pride in that.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Now, the Lock Sessions Volume 3, I think maybe my favorite song is My Own. And that one I really like because of the examination of your mind and your thoughts, like about losing your confidence and understanding your own shortcomings and different things, and talking about, your girl leaving you and different challenges that you faced in I thought a very honest way. So with My Own, as you become aware of these things, how do you find making it into a song or including them in a song affects you?
I feel like it helps. It's therapeutic in a sense, writing about those things, getting it out. I think so. I can pinpoint that song specifically because Lock Sessions, like I said, the pandemic happened. I had a couple songs. Okay, we all locked in the house. You know what? I instantly got motivated. I was like, you know what? Motivated. I'm focused. This pandemic ain't gonna stop me. You know what I mean? Like I know everything's different, but I'm gonna utilize this. I'm gonna get creative. I'm gonna start going online. So I was pumped. I start putting out the music. Boom, we have the Lock Sessions too. Great. Then I said, okay, I'm gonna repeat that. I'm gonna do that. But then the pandemic was kind of still here. Stuff was still kind of closed. Or it was like open for a second. I did like 1 or 2 shows. And then it was like, nah, we're shut down again. And that was kind of like, at least for me, psychologically, I was just kind of like, I don't know. I was just like in a tailspin. I was like, what are we doing? I know I kind of hit a wall. Like I was kind of like, wait, what's going on? Like I was kind of, in the first time in my life, I was kind of just like not motivated. I was just like, what are we gonna, like, what's going on? So I just kind of hit a wall, but I was like, well, I'm gonna keep on pushing. Let me keep trying. So that song is like a direct reflection of that. I was like, how do I express this? So I was just like in a real introspective point at that time when I was coming up with that, because I was just stuck. Sorry, I think there's a big truck out there.
All good. But you also, on My Own, talk about like the devil being in your ear and these doubts and different things happening to you mentally. So beyond the therapeutic side of it, how do you find now, given this stage of your career, this stage in your life, that you're able to deal with challenges in ways that maybe you didn't 5, 10, 20 years ago?
Goes back to that wisdom, having an understanding, like, look, you've been through some things before, you understand it, you can handle this. You got through that, so you can get through this. Just pulling on those past experiences, just like the Golden State Warriors just with the Boston Celtics. You know what I'm saying? Like, Boston is new. They never been in those, they were up 2-1, but the Warriors are like, okay, look, we've been through this before. We don't need to panic. We've gotten through this. We can get through this before. So I don't know. I try to keep that in mind. And sometimes it's hard to see that because new challenges come and you're just like, yo, what am I going to do? But it's like, hey, look, I've been through some stuff. I've been through some tough things before. Why don't you just hold back? Just chill out for a second. Keep your focus and it'll come. It'll start materializing when you can understand what's going on. You'll be able to navigate this. And I think that's what that is. That's what that song is. That's even what that project is. The whole project is just kind of like, all right, look, you've been through some stuff. You're in uncharted waters now. You can't go out and perform. So why don't you just kind of focus in, get this done, channel it through your music, and the answers will appear to you. So I kind of feel like that's what the whole Lock Session 3 is,
And then you end Lock Sessions Volume 3 with Fear, which of course you have the Uchiwali beat and there's a lot going on lyrically there. So what made you want to speak on all that stuff?
Oh, that was just kind of like, I think that was kind of too, I feel like that was kind of like, I think that's the last song I even did, you know what I mean, on that project. Or I was just like, all right, you know what? I feel good again. I'm starting to get my groove back. Like, all right, you know what I mean? Like, it's time to talk a little shit, you know? So that's what that was. It was like, okay, let me just get something, the sample that I'm familiar with. We're going to remix it a little bit, add some stuff to it, some chord progression, make it. But I was just like, you know what? I want to put this out. I want to just do this. This is for me. I need to just, like, every once in a while, like, I just need to do stuff where I just feel like, all right, I just got to express myself. I don't want to think about nothing. I'm just going to go off. And that was kind of one of those records.
Right. And in Fear, you talk about how you're the rapper that other rappers dodge. And I wanted to get from you in the 2010s to 2020s now, in your experience, and even before that, from what you saw and then what you imagined, like, how do you think or imagine and see things differently in these current eras that you've been a part of versus what you imagine or what you saw or heard about in the 80s or 90s, where the Big Daddy Kane's like, oh man, nobody wants to mess with him, or Cool G Rap or KRS-One or LL or whoever it would have been. How has your experience been versus how you saw them navigate like battles and beefs and stuff? How has that been for you?
I think, I mean, I do study the game, you know, I study the game. I study the, you know, like that, take that information from the 80s and the 90s into the 2000s and the Jay-Z's and people that I respect in the game, even like guys that are, you know, they're veterans now, but they're obviously, you know, a new generation like the Kendricks and J. Cole and guys that I respect that I think are dope. You know, I look at how I respect that, and I look at how they navigate. And obviously they're in different positions and have access to different things, but I still feel like the core, the essence is like, okay, people that I respect, I feel like you can learn, even people like Xzibit, you know, people that I've worked with that I respect, or past experience with guys like Beatz and D.O.C. I try to learn from that and be like, okay, how they navigate it. I take that information. How does it apply today? Like, okay, it can apply today. I mean, I think the core essence of all those things still work today, you know, but you still have to be able to adjust and apply them in ways where, you know, it's relevant for today, you know. But I feel like those lessons are timeless. Like the things that you learn, they don't change, you know, like just always like, just never getting too emotional, you know, like you can be emotions. We all have emotions, but don't let your emotions dictate everything. Understanding like, hey, look, calm down, relax. Things are going to come back around. Things are, you know, reciprocal, or, you know, they come back around. So, you know, I just take that information, man, and just try to apply it to everything that I do, especially within my career.
In the beginning, hip-hop was ruled by the East Coast. Then the West Coast rose to prominence thanks to gangster rap.
Straight out of Compton, crazy motherfucker named Ice Cube.
Hip-hop changed the world. Gangster rap changed the narrative.
I'm representing for the gangsters all across the world.
And then changed the world again.
Cause I'll come and take your life away.
The history of gangster rap features unheard stories, unseen photos and documents, all with exclusive interviews from the founders and players who shaped gangster rap.
I think a real gangster rapper has to scare you a little bit.
The history of gangster rap, written by veteran rap journalist Soren Baker. In stores now.
Yo, what up? This is DJ Quick. Be sure to pick up my homeboy Soren Baker's book, The History of Gangster Rap, if you really want to know what we do.